Hello, you out there in YouTube land. This is Fox Hood, and I am back with another action figure review. Want to apologize for such a long delay. I just gotta say, it's been because of work, friends, summer vacation. But I'm back, and with another wonderful figure review. Celebrating 20 wonderful years of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Bandai, Tamashii Nations, and Bluefin Distribution have given the American market for the first time SH Figuarts of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And starting things off, we have the courageous, stoic leader of the team, the original team I should say, Red Ranger. Now for those of you who don't know exactly what an SH Figuart is, well, it's a new standard figure series that incorporates the Bandai action figure art under the theme pursuing character expression through standard action. No, humanoid action. Standard action would be, 5 points of articulation. These bad boys are promising to be much more. Now this is my first ever figure art. The package itself is pretty striking. I especially love the silver detailing. It almost looks like a blade with some very vintage like patina. It's very striking. I especially love the vintage looking wear and tear of the Red Ranger insignia. It's got a very, very nice vibe to it. It's not kiddie at all. Since these are an adult action figure, there's none of those greens or yellows that we're used to seeing with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. This is a completely different color scheme to show us that these are for the more mature. And I especially love that. We have some really cool sequences with the Red Ranger figure posed on either side of the box. Very nice window packaging. And of course we have more detailed synopsis of exactly what a figuart is. Movable advanced SH Figuarts articulation enables dynamic posing to recreate the iconic Red Ranger action scenes. Molding, exquisite proportion that faithfully replicates the Red Ranger has been achieved via a master-crafted sculpt and meticulous attention to detail. And option parts. A full array of option parts including the Power Sword, Thunderslinger, and Blade Blaster weapon accessories are featured in the set. And for the first time ever, we get the Blade Blaster in blade form and in holster mode. First time ever in the American market do we have an action figure with these. That's exciting all in itself. And I gotta say, the figure does look striking. I'm really excited to take this thing out of the package and just play around with it. Wait up just a little bit, just wait a little longer. I'll get this bad boy out and we'll see just exactly what Bandai, Tamashii Nations, and Bluefin treated us to. And so here we have the Red Ranger in the flesh, in the plastic, so to speak. And I gotta say, just looking at it, it is a very striking figure. I mean, it just screams authentic all the way around. The articulation on this guy is just amazing. I mean, the stuff that you can, the poses, the fighting stances, everything that you can think of when you ever saw a Power Ranger episode, any pose that you wanted to recreate can be recreated faithfully here, which is just amazing. I wanted to start things off with just the standing pose because the standing pose itself just looks great on its own. The paint apps on here are just wonderful. Everything seems to be in order. There doesn't seem to be any slop anywhere. Everything just looks so perfect, especially on the helmet. Those teeth that you see. Those teeth, those individually painted silver teeth, everything, it just looks just so fantastic. When was the last time you bought a Bandai of America Red Ranger or any Power Ranger figure and had to deal with perfectly applied paint on the visor and the white trim, and if there was any silver teeth, you can't. I mean, it was near impossible to get that level detail on a mass market figure like this. With these specialty market figures, it's the paint is, it's got to be perfect, because these things are in the $40 price range. They have to be perfect. You have to come across as getting your money's worth out of it. And look at that belt. There's no slop on the belt buckle, no bleeding anywhere. It's just amazing. On the back, you have the traditional diamonds, everything. It just looks so perfect. There's not even a really bad color contrast that you would normally get. The reds on the suit look like, give just enough sheen to make it stand out, but the reds from the upper torso don't clash too miserably with the painted reds on the gloves and boots. The red legs don't clash with the helmet red. The helmet, of course, has got to be a little bit shiny, and it's got a very nice gloss sheen to it. Everything that's glossy looks super glossy, and everything that looks flat just has a little bit of a semi-gloss, so the colors don't clash. It's just amazing, 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 amazing. And with all these other little accessories that you get, once again, this was a $40 figure, and every single accessory is just painted beautifully. Starting with the Ranger gun. Look at the Ranger gun, or the Blade Blaster in sword mode. Do you really expect to have perfect level detail like that on a Bandai of America product, even if they attempted this? No. Everything is painted just... I'm just amazed at the level of detail. Because the gun itself, I mean, the sidearm, the Blade Blaster, had so much detail in it. The little blue lines, the red nameplate, the red shadowing on the blade. I mean, everything. There's no bleeding. Everything is just painted so perfectly. They even got the eyes on the top of the gun. It's just amazing. And that goes for on all parts of the gun. When it's in gun mode, and when it's in holster mode. The power sword itself, we finally have a power sword with that striking oriental type detailing across the sword. The hilt finally has the gold and star trims on it. Finally has that Tyrannosaurus detailing to it. The hilt has those painted gold diamonds on it. Everything about this is just striking. For the first time ever, we get an action figure with the Thunder Slinger in its painted form, I should say, and it looks just amazing. Of course, for those American fans that don't know what a Thunder Slinger is, these were the special weapons used only once to defeat the Super Putties in the episode Gung Ho, and it just looks amazing. You even have the combined attachment of the Thunder Slinger. And once again, no detail has been spared. Everything is painted just beautifully. No slop, no paint errors, nothing. I'm just amazed. Articulation on this guy is as follows. He has that standard SH Figuart head articulation where he can bob his head and go all the way around like he's doing calisthenics. Can look all the way around using just the head, and the neck is actually what provides the rotation. When you want to turn the head is moving, but when you want to move the neck around, the neck has its own separate articulation joint, and it does all the movement. The shoulders move up and down. They also go 360. Kind of hard to do it because of this little shoulder pad piece. It isn't really adding to the articulation. It just fills in gaps wherever you want it to go. And then it's kind of annoying sometimes, I have found, because sometimes you get it into a pose and you actually kind of have to move the arm a little bit around to get it back in that position you want because this little joint is in the way. But other than that, it's not really that much of a bother. And it looks very nice. You also have the double jointed elbows that give you those wonderful flexing poses if you so desire. This also works well when you want to hold the blade blaster across his chest, which I'll show you later. And of course it'll also work for when we get the Dragon Ranger / Green Ranger when he does that summoning Dragon Zord pose. Of course, you can say the wrists do rotate, and that's just because you have to remove the wrists, because got all these little wrist attachments. The ab crunch, which does a more realistic version of the ab crunch, I do say, and I like this a lot better than the ab crunch that Mattel likes to do. It doesn't really destroy the sculpt as much as that horseshoe gap that it leaves, and there's an additional waist cut joint that's also on a ball, so you can do all these really wonderful poses. There's another ball joint on the legs that allow you to do splits. And of course the knee joint, double jointed knees, go all the way back to do some really wonderful kicks. And the ankle joint has somewhat of a rocker. And it goes up and down, and of course we have toes, so we can do tiptoes. And that is it for the articulation in Red Ranger. But now we come to the point where we all want to see. We want to see him hold some weapons and do some really cool posing. Here's what I always wanted to do. Recreating a really classic drawing from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers coloring book and all the other really cool merchandise that we got in the 1990s. That's one I've always wanted to do, and you really can never do it with the action figures that we got back in the day. So that's more of a pose that I just wanted to do just for the heck of it. Of course, I don't have any stands for these. I think I have them pre-ordered on Big Bad Toy Store. But I guess I could get some SH figure art stands. But for now, just freewheeling it, I guess, we'll have to do. And of course, you know, taking off the hands are very, very simple. Just pull them off like so. And just attach the hand. It's very easy to do. Here's one with the signature hand pose. Here's one better holding off with the gun. And here's sword hand. Forgive me, I'm not really that good with posing, but as you can see, you can pose Red Ranger holding the sword in both hands, which is pretty gosh darn neat, if I do say so myself. That classic pose of him holding the sword with the dragon hands, I would like to call it. You know, from the opening of the show in Season 1 and that classic episode where they get their weapons from teamwork. Another one with Jason holding on to the gun against the chest. Something that couldn't be possible without that addition of the double jointed elbow. You could even use the little dragon hands to manipulate pulling on the Thunder Slinger to fire it. This part was never ever shown in the original American series. It was briefly shown when Jason pulled back the weapon in its combined form and said, "You lose again, Rita." Well, in the original Japanese series, it was the Frankenstein monster. They actually fired upon it, I guess you could say. They actually fired upon it using the blaster in its combined form. Before, and of course, the American series, they wanted more standalone monsters, where in this, the original Japanese series, Mutitus was actually the form of the destroyed Frankenstein monster. The Red Ranger in its blaster blade form. Tyrannosaurus, Red Dragon, Thunderzord power. Classic battle pose. Okay, so I've probably given you about 100 different reasons as to why you should buy it, and now I'm going to give you my 2 cents. This figure is just striking. This is beautiful. This is the closest we're ever going to get in a Red Ranger figure. I mean, the head sculpt is spot on. The outfit is been meticulously recreated from those original scans from 1992 and 1993. Everything here that you would be expecting in a Red Ranger figure, Mighty Morphin Red Ranger figure, is here. I love the ability to recreate all those poses that I couldn't with the 2010, the 1993 8-inch figures, and of course the Automorph figures. I love to be able to recreate all those poses that I couldn't with those figures from the past. Love the figures from the past, but they are lacking in what this figure is. I may have been vocal about my displeasure for some pieces of figure arts down the line, but they are hands down best company producing action figures in this scale than any other company there is, and that beats NECA. This blows NECA out of the water. This is just amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I cannot wait till my other pre-orders come in the mail. I can't wait until blue, black, and yellow become available via pre-order. This is just an amazing, amazing, amazing treat. And if you have not picked these figures up yet, I would suggest you go ahead. I mean, this is just amazing. I mean, I love the scene where Jason was just in awe, receiving his power sword in the command center that first time. And now I have the chance to just recreate that. And it wouldn't have been possible without these figure arts. They're available in stores right now. Amazon is probably your best bet for the American version if you do not want those Abaranger parts. But I would suggest you go ahead and pick them up while you can, because these are going to be just amazing, fast sellouts. If you haven't pre-ordered them, I would suggest you go ahead and buy them. Find a place that has them in stock and buy them. They may break your wallet because they are about $40 a piece, or at least I got mine for $34 on a pre-order. But still, they're worth every single penny. They are the best figures on the market representing Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. These figures were a long time coming. I remember when Figure Arts first came out, I was eagerly awaiting until they got to the Mighty Morphin line. And before I rant on even more, I'm just going to end things right here. This is Trans8010, and I am formerly Trans8010, now Fox Hood, and I am signing off.